So the tech bros are running things. And this whole situation, this civil war between MAGA and the tech bros over the H-1B visas has brought to light how much the tech bros are really running things and how much power and influence they have. With President-elect Musk and his VP Vivek Ramaswamy out here pulling the puppet strings, it is really showing who's in charge. And the Broligarchs are the ones that are in charge. These tech bro billionaires are the ones that are running things in this made up department, the Department of Government Efficiency. And I have a feeling that they are going to be the ones that are going to be enacting legislation and pulling strings where this is literally a made up thing and they are not elected officials. But this person wrote about the Broligarchs. And here we have picture Elon Musk, JD Vance, who was bought and paid for by Peter Thiel, or I think it's Thiel. So we need to talk a little bit more about these people. People may or may not be familiar with Peter Thiel and can't pick him out of a lineup, but this is who this is. And this is JD Vance's former boss. Now, when JD Vance was still vocal and we were still seeing him, he was urging Peter Thiel to get off the sidelines and back the Trump campaign. Senator JD Vance reportedly urged Peter Thiel to support him and former President Donald Trump for presidency over Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Vance told the Financial Times he will keep trying to push Thiel, his former boss, to ditch his decision to stay out of the 2024 presidential election. Thiel previously said he would back Trump over his then presumptive Democratic nominee, President Joe Biden, if he had to. Okay, so let's do some of this article. The selection of JD Vance, 39, the junior senator from Ohio, as VP candidate of the Republican Party was a huge win for the likes of Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, right-wing tech bro billionaires who have sought to reshape American politics in their own preferred image. It's not going well. Well, it went well enough because JD Vance and Trump won, despite the fact that it's really like Elon Musk running the show. I'm not going to rehash, the childless cat ladies and all of that stuff that he was talking about. It's tempting to dismiss Vance and his wealthy tech backers as politically naive lightweights who believe their money can buy them whatever access and influence they need. But behind the cash and bizarre beliefs lies a far darker agenda, and it's worth getting out ahead of it before it can metastasize, especially now that Vance is the VP, like for real, not necessarily Vivek Ramaswamy, but JD Vance is actually the VP. In today's piece, I'll discuss how Vance has rocketed to national prominence, fueled by the support of wealthy techno-libertarians like Thiel. Then I'll delve a bit deeper into the strange world of the Broligarchy and what they are truly after with all their political machinations. I'll also explore some of the radical beliefs of Vance, including who has influenced him as heir apparent to the promised post-liberal order. It's a toxic stew of baseline misogyny, white panic, and truly out there anti-democratic views. Vance is, even charitably put, Thiel's dancing puppet. Thiel famously made Vance his protege, making a place for the Yale Law School grad in Silicon Valley, where, as the Washington Post reports, his omnivorous intellect, mild manner, and outsider story of growing up working class in Ohio impressed Thiel's set of tech bro entrepreneurs. Vance became wealthy, a hillbilly no more, and then set his eyes on a Senate seat in Ohio. Thiel bankrolled Vance's campaign to the tune of $15 million, the largest single donation to a Senate campaign in history. Why such a huge amount for just one Senate seat? Thiel's aim all along has been clear: to place someone friendly to the libertarian model of tech dominance, one with little to no governmental regulation in Congress. Imagine his delight when Donald Trump began to narrow down his finalists for the VP spot and Vance found himself among them. His prior scathing remark about Trump being America's Hitler notwithstanding, Thiel and others, including Elon Musk and David Sachs, who both personally lobbied for Vance to be the VP pick, saw their chance. They understood that Vance was now, in theory, one heartbeat and a healthy 39 years away from the ailing ex-president whose reelection at that time seemed inevitable and unstoppable. When the Vance decision was announced, Musk congratulated him publicly on Twitter, calling it an excellent decision by Trump. Dillian Asparov, who is a partner in Thiel's founder fund, triumphantly, if a tad prematurely, tweeted, "It's JD Vance. We have a former tech VC in the White House. Greatest country on earth, baby." So, is it a coincidence that Vance was chosen? I think not. Now that we know all that we know about how Elon is the puppet master behind Trump. Thiel's $15 million bet had paid off in a huge way, said one person familiar with his thinking. For Peter, Vance is a generational bet. Thiel's push to gain the tech VC access within Congress and the White House at a time when AI is an emergent technology whose regulation is on the minds of many in Washington is suspect enough. But even a quick peek behind the curtain to see what men like Thiel, Musk, and Vance really think about society and democracy should set off alarm bells. The Great Replacement Theory. For Vance, his much publicized attack upon childless cat ladies runs deeper than a judgment about lifestyle, values, and female independence, though on these topics, he is certainly far to the right of most Americans. Vance's concerns are based on a more fundamental fear, one that he shares with another tech billionaire, Elon Musk. Both Musk and Vance are obsessed with the dangers of falling birth rates in America. Musk himself, who posts frequently about this, has sired at least 12 children, apparently in a personal effort to reverse the trend. Vance raises the issue frequently in public, chastising modern Americans for not having enough kids. And at the recent Republican National Convention, speakers so regularly mentioned the importance of having babies that the Times columnist Jess Bidgood wondered whether "Make America Procreate Again" would become a tagline. The move for Americans to have babies overlaps with the conspiracies that Democrats are admitting more immigrants in order to turn them into voters. Another falsehood Musk has pushed openly on Twitter to his 180 million followers. Earlier in the year, Musk left pinned to the top of his feed a chart claiming misleadingly that more migrants are now arriving at the southern border than there are babies being born to American mothers. That figure is always higher than birth rates, but Musk neglects to point out that most who arrive are turned away before entry or expelled after detention. Vance, who is married to the daughter of immigrants, claims his criticism of the childless, along with his oddball policy proposal to give those with children more votes and greater say in our democracy, have nothing to do with race. But in the same breath, he reiterates the false claims that Democrats believe they could replace American children with immigrants. And now it should all come to light that they were using this to get alt-right MAGA to go along with it. And now they are completely reversing with this whole H-1B visa brouhaha. Freedom from democracy. Because Peter Thiel is not himself a politician, his stridently anti-democratic views often go unnoticed. But now that he and Musk are throwing tens of millions of dollars around to change the course of elections, it's important to expose them. As Professor Heather Cox Richardson noted in 2009, Thiel wrote, "I no longer believe that freedom and democracy are compatible." By freedom, he presumably means the freedom of billionaires to do as they please without pesky things like taxes and regulations. The 1920s were the last decade in American history during which one could genuinely be optimistic about politics. Till elaborated. Since 1920, the vast increase in welfare beneficiaries and the extension of the franchise to women, two constituencies that are notoriously tough for libertarians, have rendered the notion of capitalist democracy into an oxymoron. That's right. Thiel has called into question the wisdom of extending the vote to women. And along with it, he'd be happy throwing out welfare benefits established after the Great Depression, including Social Security and Medicare. These ideas are incompatible with his view of how capitalism ought to work. But if it's between capitalism and democracy, he soon have the former and toss out the latter as not compatible. Just like Hungary, one of Vance's intellectual heroes is a man with truly radical ideas. Patrick Deneen is a conservative Catholic professor of political theory at Notre Dame, and he is the author of a book called Regime Change. No, really, that was the title. Vance appeared beside Deneen along with the Heritage Foundation leader Kevin Roberts at the book's launch, as Rolling Stone reported. At the event, Deneen called for something more radical than January 6th, a complete toppling of the current American order. I don't want to violently overthrow the government. I want something far more revolutionary. Deneen proposes an aristo-populism in which the virtuous elite provide order and structure to public life in order to ensure the flourishing of the ordinary citizens who cannot provide it for themselves. During the book launch, Vance called himself a member of the post liberal right, with a role in the Congress that was explicitly anti regime. What does all this mean precisely? In Regime Change, Deneen argues for a peaceful revolution to establish a post liberal order with laws against same sex marriage, gender affirming care, and, of course, abortion. In this new order, such pro family values steeped in religious doctrine would take precedence over liberal ones like the protection of individual rights. If that sounds familiar, it's because it's straight out of the illiberal playbook run by Viktor Orban in Hungary, a buddy of Vladimir Putin who has become the darling and model of the fascist right. Orban rules through a sham democratic system with restrictions on press freedoms and gerrymandered parliamentary seats, and he has sworn to return Hungary to a society based on Christian values, all while keeping out migrants, targeting feminists, and stripping the LGBTQ community of its rights. And you all should remember that Trump actually spoke about Viktor Orban during a debate against Kamala Harris. I'm going to skip some of this and skip down to the tip of the spear. When you pull all this together, the picture becomes disturbingly clear. JD Vance is the hope of the Broligarchs and the monarchists made incarnate. He is a man intentionally placed by the tech billionaires right next to Trump. He is the tool of those prepared to destroy our republic and place it with an Orbanian new post-liberal order. Within that new order, our representative system would give way to a CEO authoritarian who would reshape American society into one that views women as procreative tools and democracy as not compatible with techno capitalism. And that is right in alignment with Project 2025 and these Christo fascists. This all sounds like dystopian fiction, but we would be foolish to dismiss it as mere fantasy. Vance, Thiel, Musk, the Project 2025 extremists, and right-wing revolutionaries like Deneen and Yarvin have all said the quiet parts out loud, but to date, we have considered them too fringe to matter. Now that Vance is positioned exactly where they wanted someone like him to be, we had better understand and warn all about their endgame. So this is important to know. This is all important to know because this all aligns with Project 2025. This aligns with all of the birth rate stuff. This aligns with how Republicans have been trying to strip women's rights since like forever. And like now they literally have all of this money to put behind it to actually strip people of rights. We see how this is going down right now. We see it front and center. It's very, very clear who is running things. And the fact that JD Vance has been absent, he's been absent because he is in alignment with Elon Musk and the tech bros running things. Anyways, let me know your theories. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, and follow for more.